Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Super Lunch Roast Podcast, episode number 52. I am Brendan.
And I'm Nate.
Hey, what's going on? So, before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe. We're posting this one up halfway through the week. This is a little this is going to be an excerpt from something we recorded over the weekend, but to make it more digestible, we're going to cut it in half. So we're going to put the rest of it right here, and we'll start up talking about the fight coming up this weekend, which is Robert Whittaker versus Kelvin Gastelum.
Yeah, we got a little too into it, so the worst
Yeah.
happened, and now you get 2 episodes for the price of 1.
Yeah. So earlier in the last episode that we posted earlier this week, we didn't get off on a tangent because it's technically part of what's going on with the Venom deal and all that stuff. It's just it made more sense to split these two up. It makes it, like I said, more digestible. Listening to, I can't listen to myself talk for 2 hours. So I wouldn't expect you to. Nate has a more dulcet tone, so I would listen to him talk, but it's not.
You'll go to sleep, I promise.
All right, so enjoy. Like I said, if you like what you hear coming up, make sure you like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Tell people about us, comment, and I'll try to get back to you guys as soon as I can. I
greatly appreciate the feedback.
Yeah, I do respond to the comments, and if you ask us to go break something down, if it's feasible and something that we're going to probably talk about anyway, I'll probably just throw it in and we'll talk about it in the upcoming episode. So really appreciate it.
We also get into the Olympics a little bit in this. Granted, not too much, but if you like our Olympic talk, I would definitely be open to doing some pre-Olympic breakdowns of certain events.
That'd be fun. I'd like to do research on certain things in the Olympics. So if you guys like the Olympics stuff that we talk about, we go into at the end of this episode, we go into the Jordan Burroughs on Kyle Dake, talking about like their wrestling match that they just had, and kind of like the world trials and the Olympic trials, and kind of the Olympic breakdown and what's going to happen in this year.
Oh yeah, it gets interesting. I make a bold prediction.
All right, appreciate it. Yeah, enjoy. All right, so this weekend, we've got one of the most important fights, if not the most important fight outside of a title fight for the middleweight division.
Or the future of the middleweight division.
We got Robert Whittaker fighting Kelvin Gastelum. We've already talked about a little bit about this coming in. So going into this fight, you tell me how you see it going.
I think Robert Whittaker absolutely and unequivocally gets it done with a decision win. Flat out, I've seen no evidence whatsoever that Robert Whittaker's lost his capability to get the job done, to impose his will on people. I don't think his striking capability is gone. Kelvin Gastelum can, he can throw down. He's willing to go at it, and it's, it didn't work out for him with Izzy. He's been successful, but ultimately, I think when you're putting him up against someone of the caliber of Robert Whittaker, he could win. I don't think it's likely. I think 7 out of 10 times you're going to have Robert Whittaker beating Kelvin Gastelum, maybe even 8 out of 10.
So I would agree with you, especially based off the last performance we saw from Gastelum.
Yeah.
He didn't have the pop on his punches that he normally does. He's always had decent cardio, but he didn't have, I don't know, that freshness in the later rounds that we're used to seeing. But he did get the win. It was just against Ian Heinisch, not necessarily the best in the division. So he did lose. Yeah, he lost 3 in a row before that. Izzy, Darren Till. It was a split decision to Darren Till, but I think they got that one right. I had Till winning that fight. He lost a fight to Jack Hermanson, and he beat Ian Heinisch. So based off his history, he's probably going to lose this fight, because when he steps up in competition, he just doesn't get it done. I mean, he lost to Chris Weidman. I think the biggest advantage that he has in this is that he's not fighting a big middleweight.
Yeah.
Whittaker's not a bigger guy, and usually that's who he's been fighting, is natural middleweights who are giant. It's just Till's Till used to be a welterweight. But he was a giant welterweight.
I've just never seen Gastelum get to the level he needs to get to really get that shot. Like you said, when he steps up at competition.
Yeah, I mean, he had that great fight against Izzy, but he just came up short.
Yep. And I think it's going to be an awesome fight. Don't get me wrong.
That's what I'm hoping for. The thing is, I don't see Whittaker finishing. I might just eat my words. Listen, before you guys like tear me up in the comments or come at me, I don't care. Like, I'm going to predict about half these fights correct in history. It's just how stats go. Anyway, so if you look, I just don't see how Whittaker finishes Gastelum unless it's due to like exhaustion, like a TKO or a submission kind of thing. Like, Gastelum has a rock chin, and I just don't see Whittaker finishing him. But with those high kicks, maybe he catches him and stumbles him and gets a TKO finish. It's just, if Whittaker's cardio holds up and he keeps peppering him for all 5 rounds, I think Whittaker gets it done.
And I agree with that. I mean, let's be straight on this. If you look at who he's fought, all right, so he lost to Jack Hermanson by a submission. He lost to Izzy and Darren Till, same year, both by decision. So he's going the distance, two absolutely incredible strikers. So like, he can hang with strikers. He's not the type of guy that goes in there and gets knocked out, even when he's facing someone of an elite level of striking and someone who has the capability of knocking out most people in that division. But I've also not seen him put on a show to where he, Gastelum also doesn't knock people out.
Usually. I mean, he knocked out Bisping.
That was like 4 years ago.
Hey, so? Yeah, and he outdid Souza. He basically out-cardioed Jacare.
He did beat Tim Kennedy.
But he out-cardioed Tim Kennedy too. Like, Tim Kennedy was, that he was getting tired. That's why the TKO happened.
And that's why I don't think that's going to be the case with Whittaker.
Yeah, it's
been a while since I've seen the Kelvin Gastelum that beat Tim Kennedy. It's been a while since I've seen the Kelvin Gastelum that.
No, against Darren Till and against Izzy, he looked great. And then I think Jack Hermanson caught him and submitted him. Yeah. It's just, he doesn't fight. I don't think Gastelum has bad performances. I think he's very good. I really still think he needs to go back to welterweight. I really do. I think at welterweight, he is such a monster, and he's a big problem for so many people at welterweight. I wish he would just get with Dolce or whoever the hell wants to do his diet. I would watch
him versus Usman. That would be fun.
Yeah. Like, he's a big dude with good cardio, great striking, good wrestling. Like, he's got the kryptonite for a lot of people in that division, and he's he's also got a rock chin. He's just tough as freaking nails.
You're not knocking him out. And that's what I said. But I still think Whittaker's a better striker, better all around.
Yeah, I think he's a better fighter in general.
That's what I mean. Like,
most of the ways that
Whittaker can win just vastly outnumber the ways that Kelvin Gastelum can win in this fight.
Yeah, I think Gastelum could get this win. I think Gastelum could catch him. I think Gastelum could maybe outwork him. It really comes down to like who's going forward. If Whittaker's on the back foot the entire time, that's bad news. I think he's much better fighting forward. He's okay. He's a good counter striker. Like, Whittaker was a champ. He's one of the best middleweights possibly ever. He just gets forgot about because he had a loss. He had a loss to like Izzy, who was one of the best strikers in the UFC. It's just there's a good chance that Whittaker wins this fight. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for as well, because I want to see that rematch again. This is the same shit that I had, the same problem I had with Curtis Blaydes fighting Derek Lewis. Like, I think if Curtis Blaydes fights Derek Lewis 100 times after this and learns from that first fight, I think he beats him 99 of those times. I really do. He's just like, if he kicks him in the leg more, and I saw someone saying it's not that easy. He was doing it. He made it look easy in that first round.
Yep.
Lewis touched him with a jab in that first round, and that was it. It's just he went for the takedown because that was the game plan. Point is, Whittaker goes into this fight with literally nothing to gain except to keep his place in line, which is number one. Like his place is he's next in line.
By a long shot. Whittaker has not lost to anyone other than Izzy since 2013.
I was gonna say I was gonna say 5 years, but because I thought he lost because he moved up to middleweight. Because he lost at welterweight. He lost to Wonder Boy. He lost to
Court McKee.
Wow. Holy shit, that does go back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Then he moved up to middleweight.
Yeah, and then
since he moved up to middleweight, he went on an absolute tear.
Yeah, he beat pretty much everyone.
All the way through.
Yeah, I'm a huge Whittaker fan. That's what I'm saying. I want him to win. I want to see the bookend on that, the rivalry. If he does get the win over Izzy, that's a big if. But if he can get this win this weekend and then gets to fight Izzy and gets that win, then we see a definitive end to it with the trilogy fight. If he loses, I would argue that it's a definitive end to that rivalry, and we just know that Whittaker is just not as good as Izzy, right? That's the guy he couldn't beat, and we're dealing with a Bermudez, not Dennis Bermudez. Who's the other one? At flyweight who couldn't beat Demetrius Johnson 3 times. He came up for the title. He went up for the title and lost. Oh, poop. So whoever's listening to this, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. It doesn't matter. So it's just there's situations where if there's not this one fighter in that division, this guy is the champ and he beats everybody else in that division. He just can't beat the champ, right? And he just keeps knocking out contenders, and then they have to eventually rematch. And I think Whittaker has done that. And if he can beat Izzy or make it more I think if he just puts up a challenge, let's say they go all 5 rounds and is competitive, I would argue that's as effective in a cause for a trilogy. It's just not as immediate.
I would say if he went all 5 rounds, whether it was a decision or a split decision, or if it was just a close fight, I would absolutely be happy to see him back in there after Vettori gets a shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say give Vettori a shot and then, have Whittaker fight someone else and just come back into it.
All right. I'm rooting for Whittaker. I love Kelvin Gastelum. I like Robert Whittaker. It's divisional implications that I want. I just want Whittaker to put a bookend on that. All right. Co-main event. We got Jeremy Stephens. Woo, little heathen. Fighting Drakkar Klose. Drakkar Klose got in that brawl with Beneil Dariush and got knocked out last year. So Jeremy Stephens, don't look up Jeremy Stephens' record. When do you think the last time Jeremy Stephens had a win?
(2018)
Good guess. Yes. So February, 3 years it's been since he's had a win. Granted, he's been fighting really good people. So he knocked out Josh Emmett.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Then he loses to Jose Aldo via TKO. I think that fight, if it kept going, I think he could beat Jose, like modern day Jose Aldo, because he got caught in the liver and his body shut down. It wasn't one of those bad knockouts where he just couldn't continue. It's just like his body shut down. That happens. He lost a decision to Zabit, which everybody does. That guy he's a 3-round. Zabit Magomed Sharipov is a 3-round monster. Put him in there for 5 and let's see what happens. He got that no contest against Yair where he got poked in the eye. When it was supposed to be 5 rounds, remember, then it got switched to 3 rounds, and then we saw Yair win the first 2 confidently, and then
Jeremy took over in the 3rd.
Right. So if we see a 4-round or a 5-rounder, maybe that's different. So not a
Jeremy
bad
is someone
loss.
who's very well known for his cardio.
Yes, and power that carries into the end of the fight. And then he got in a war with Calvin Kattar, throwing bombs back and forth, rocking each other, and he just got caught and he got knocked out. So shit happens.
Exciting fighter. He's one of my favorites to watch.
Yes, I love his attitude. I love him watching him fight, and he's fighting Drakkar Klose, who likes to throw leather. So I think it's going to be fun. I also think if Stephens loses this fight, there's a good chance he doesn't fight in the UFC until I mean, ever again based off his age.
I would watch him in Bellator.
I would watch him anywhere. I don't give a shit where he fights.
PFL? Ooh.
Yeah,
PFL
I don't care.
Fun.
I think he'd be fun. Speaking of fighters who've been fighting forever, Andrei Arlovsky, fight number 53.
Jeez.
He's 30-20-0 and 2 no contests against Chase Sherman.
Wow.
So I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say Andrei Arlovsky wins this fight via decision, using his veteran mindset and talent against Chase Sherman's crazy swinging. And Chase Sherman got dropped from the UFC after a couple losses, and then this is his second fight back, I believe, in the UFC. Well, let me double check. No, this is his second fight back. This is his second stint in the UFC, and this is his second fight back. So and I don't remember how I think he might have gotten
Andrei Arlovsky was in UFC 28.
Yeah. Dude, he was the champ before. Like, I went over this before the last time Andrei Arlovsky fought. Like, he was the champ before I started watching.
I'll never forget the first fight I ever saw of his was against Paul Del Tullio. It's the one where he knocked him out with basically like one punch in 15 seconds.
Oh, I do remember that. Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it live, but yes.
No, I got that at Blockbuster. It was back in the day when Blockbuster had like the weird section, and a bunch of them were just old UFC like fight videos. I want to say it was 2005 or 2006 when I watched it. I want to say 2005.
Dude, his career has been so crazy.
Yep.
Like, if you go back and look, like, obviously he was a UFC champ, right? And then he gets knocked out by Sylvia and then loses a decision to Sylvia, right? Then he knocks out Marcio Cruz, Fabricio Verdum. He knocks out Jake O'Brien, knocks out Ben Rothwell.
Fabricio Verdum, which is crazy to think about.
He knocks out Roy Nelson. And then, that was an Elite XC. Oh, he left. That's right. He left the UFC and he went to Affliction. And then he fought in Elite XC. And then he fought in Affliction against Fedor, where he was beating the shit out of Fedor. Like, he was smoking Fedor. And then he jumps up for a flying knee and Fedor catches him with a hook. So he got knocked out. Then he gets knocked out by Brett Rogers, Antonio Bigfoot Sylvia, Sergey Karatanov. Beats Ray Lopez, Travis Fulton, Tim Sylvia, Devin Cole, Mike Hayes. None of this is in the UFC, by the way.
I know.
Loses to Anthony Joshua, Rumble, right? Or Anthony Rumble Johnson, not Anthony Joshua. Beats Mike Kyle Andres, and then comes back to the UFC, beats Brendan Schaub. He didn't, but he got the split decision win.
Yep.
Then he gets the win over Antonio Bigfoot Silva, knocks him out, knocks out Travis Brown in a crazy one-round war. Beats Frank Mir, and now we're looking at him fighting for the possibly setting up a title shot, right? And then he gets knocked out by Stipe, right? And then he gets knocked out by Alistair Overeem, submitted by Josh Barnett, knocked out by Francis, who hasn't been, am I right? Loses a decision to Marcin Tybura. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 losses in a row, and they didn't cut him. Junior Albini, that's the one who wore the diaper.
But it's still Andrei Arlovsky. Like,
yeah, he beats Albini, beats Struve, loses to Tai Tuivasa, Shamil Abdurakhimov.
Ties with Walt Harris.
It was a split decision win for Harris, but it was overturned because Harris tested positive for something. Loses to Augusto Sakai, beats Ben Rothwell.
I know.
Loses to Jairzinho Rosenstruck in a KO, fine. Beats Philippe Lenz, who's a young Tanner Bozer. Loses to Tom Aspinall. Dude, he's like a 50-50 fighter, and he's been fighting for 100 years.
He's still Andrei Arlovsky. Like, are you going to get rid of Andrei Arlovsky?
No, I'm just it's to me it's fascinating, and I spoke to it the last time he lost, but just watching him fight it's something else. Yeah. I think him and Overeem are some of the most fascinating examples of MMA fighters.
It is 21 years since his first UFC event.
That's older than some people who are currently watching the UFC.
Oh, I know. 21 years later, we're watching another Andre Arlovsky fight. And like
he
he's still
fought in the
terrifying.
UFC before Chase Hooper was born.
But it's still interesting. Like it's still like, you know, he's still a draw. He still gets people attention.
And he's good.
Yeah. Like any given night, he's gonna give someone problems in heavyweight.
I
He's
think
still
he
Andre
just
Arlovsky.
he fights so smart. He's such an intelligent fighter now.
Yeah.
And he knows he doesn't have a chin. And I think, dude, I really believe that he's just been cashing paychecks. I don't know if he's planning on ever trying to go for the title again or if that's how he's training. I don't know the fighter's mindset. I don't know how that works. I just think he goes out there every time and he's just like, I'm going to get a lot of money and I'm going to do it. I'm going to get this win in the smartest way possible. I'm going to get a lot of money and then I'm going to get another win. He's like, I don't give a shit if I ever fight for a title again. He's like, I'm just cashing checks.
Man, I'll tell you, one model that probably fits him best is if there was actually a model of like compensation based on years in the UFC, this guy would be raking it in.
I know, that's what I'm saying. And like there is based off of a number of UFC fights. So
Yeah.
let's see, fighters with 21 or more UFC fights get 21,000 a fight, and that's just from sponsorship. So like he's got to have 21 fights, right? Oh my god, he fought in M1 MFC back in 1999.
Yep.
Oh my god, Aaron Brink, I don't even know who that is. Anyway, so he's fighting. I'm excited. I love watching our Andre Arlovsky fight. It's such a throwback. It's so cool to see.
Oh yeah,
veterans who are still competent. Yeah.
One of my introductions into the UFC was Andre Arlovsky. Like oldest fights I can remember was that 15-second knockout. And him and Bully beatdown.
Oh, that's true.
Yep.
Do you know what's crazy about Andre Arlovsky is he's never had a chin. Yeah. Like he's always not been chinny. It's heavyweight. He just doesn't have like he's susceptible to heavyweight knockouts. Okay, more so than others maybe, and he still had this incredibly lengthy career where he's been successful over multiple runs in the UFC, outside the UFC, getting like almost a title run and falling just short against Stipe Miocic, arguably one of the best heavyweights of all time. You know, like if it wasn't for Stipe, it's hard for me to remember exactly what was happening at the time, but I know Stipe was also making a run for the title. So I just remember that if he didn't fight Stipe and he fought somebody else, he might have been given the opportunity against Fabricio Verdum.
Which would have been interesting because that would have been a rematch.
Exactly. And now we're looking at maybe Andre Arlovsky being the champ 20 years after he was the champ in the UFC.
33 UFC fights later.
Yeah, holy shit. Yeah, so it's I don't think he's ever going to be champ again. I don't think that's controversial to say. I also I don't care. I think it's fun to watch him.
There's enough highlight. I can't say never in heavyweight. Like if he fights 3 more years, he could get a title shot.
Yeah, because who knows what the heavyweight landscape is going to look like.
A 4-fight win streak in heavyweight against the right people puts you at a title shot contention.
Yeah, and he could get the Dan Henderson treatment, the old man treatment where he gets a couple cool wins and now all of a sudden people are clamoring for him to fight for the title.
Yep.
Unlikely, but possible.
Yeah. I'd watch him versus Derek Lewis.
Oh my God, that fight would be such a shit show. See, we got Abdul Razak Al Hassan fighting Jacob Malkoun. I don't know much about Malkoun. Al Hassan, really active fighter. Big dude too at middleweight. All right, so we got Luis Pena, Violent Bob Ross. I'm always rooting for him when he fights. One of the coolest nicknames against Alec Munoz. Carlos Ramos versus Bill Aggio. And who do we got? Tracy Cortez, Justin Kish. We'll talk about that after. Talk about him after because there's not much going on. Jessica Penne. Holy moly. When's the last time she fought? Jessica Penne is...
it's been a while since I heard that name.
Yeah, she fought for the title against Joanna, remember?
Oh, that's right.
And like got her nose broken. Yeah. So she fought. That was in 2015. Yeah, there's a reason why we haven't. She fought Danielle Taylor back in 2017. That was her last fight. That's why we haven't heard.
I can't
anything
believe she's still on the roster.
I don't know how.
Like tearing ACL or something?
I don't think so.
Hmm.
I don't know what happened.
Interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, she's fighting at strawweight, and let's see, she's fighting Lupi Godinez. Bartosz Fabinski, Gerald Mearshardt's fighting on the prelims pretty early. Yikes. Zara Fana Santos, and then Tony Gravely. Not much.
Wow. I am excited for the ramifications of this, and I'm also excited for next week when we get to break down UFC 261. Because that is a hefty. I know you're not happy about the main event, but that's a hefty card when you start looking down at the co-main event, beginning of that fight card. There's going to be a lot of fun fights.
Prelims aren't bad either.
Yep. So, yeah, it'll be fun to get into. And I'm just excited to see the result of Whittaker versus Gastelum, because I think that promises to be a very exciting, probably going the distance fight against two dudes that are incredible.
I mean, based off of the time frame, what we're looking at, the winner of this fight probably gets a title shot. Well, not the winner of this fight. So if Whittaker wins this fight, he probably gets a title shot around
July,
the UFC
August.
fight. Yeah, what is that called? Fight week. What is that called? The fighter event, the UFC fighter event in Vegas, where they have like fight village and all that stuff set up there. But that's probably like right around 4th of July. So that'll probably be Whittaker versus Adesanya 2. If Whittaker gets the win. If he doesn't, Vettori called for a fight in October. So that's what I'm saying. So like, even if Whittaker does win,
let's be real. If Whittaker doesn't win, Vettori's going to take a title shot in August. It's not like he's going to avoid that.
Yeah, I know. It's just weird that, because if this fight does go down, right? Like, let's say Whittaker does get the win and they do fight in July, and then International Fight Week is what it's called.
Mm.
So they do fight in July, and Whittaker, Izzy gets the win again. Like, August, September, October, that's 3 months.
If Izzy's feeling it, that's a lot of fighting in 1 year. So that's 3 fights between 2 weight divisions. And you haven't even gotten to winter yet. I'd be willing to bet probably closer to November, December.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Vettori. But that's the thing for Vettori now, because Vettori would have to wait like 7 or 8 months to get that fight.
If Whittaker gets the next fight, I think Vettori fights someone else. September.
Yeah, maybe he does eventually fight Darren Till like he was supposed to. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. I'd put my money on that Vettori fights someone else and clearly makes himself the undisputed next person in line.
Yeah, we'll talk about the shit show that is UFC 261 main event next week.
Woo. Can't wait.
Crazy good fights on the card, just why? Anyway.
Ooh, there was one thing that we didn't talk about, which I wanted
Jordan Burroughs.
So stepping outside the UFC.
Yeah, just the international wrestling scene. This was the USA, obviously, but Jordan Burroughs has represented the United States in the 72 kilogram division, I believe, for the last 2 Olympics.
Doesn't come out to like 9 years or something that he's.
Yeah, because the Olympics happen every 4 years, right? So it's like, that's a long time.
The better part of a decade for a wrestler, which is crazy.
All right, so he has been wrestling, Big 12 championship, right? He got bronze in 2007, but then 8, 9, and 11, he got gold. NCAA Division Wrestling Championship, he got 8, he got bronze, and then gold in 2009, 2011. U.S. Open Championship, gold in 11, 13, 14, 17. Pan America Championship, gold in 14, 16, 19, 20. Pan America Games, gold in 11, 15, 19. World Cup is where it changes a little bit here. World Cup, he got bronze in 2014, silver in 2015, silver in 2017, and then gold in 2018. And the World Championships, it's the opposite. You got gold in 11, 13, 15, 17, bronze in 14, 18, 19. Oh, wait, that's battered. Why did they list it like that? But all these have been at 74. And he got gold in 2012 in the London Olympics. Yeah. So if we want to talk about one of the best wrestlers at 74 kilograms in history, holy moly, that's a lot of wins, dude.
Yep.
Holy shit. Anyway,
probably
he lost.
He lost to a guy who, you know,
lost to
I
him.
had to read up a little bit on, who's been chasing him for a long time. Like
he
pretty
Kyle,
much.
I think for the past
7 times previous to this that they'd gone at each other, he'd gotten the better of him. Kyle
Dake is the guy's name.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, he lost to Kyle Dake before, but only no, not the whole match, just a game, like a round or whatever. So, yeah, he beat him back in 2017 against the World Team Trials. He beat him in the U.S. Open in 2017.
Beat him in 2015.
Oh, man.
I know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so he has gone, what's his overall record? Does it say? 197-14.
That's far. That is crazy.
Yeah. So this was the 2020 U.S. Olympic team trials, and he lost both matches to Kyle Dake. So he lost 0-3 and 2-3 to Kyle Dake. And if you were like, I mean, dude, he's just been like almost unbeatable. It's not like he hasn't lost. He's lost 14 matches, but
it's a shame because it was really over the past like 2 years that I would say he kind of started to get in the forefront of popularity outside people that were interested in freestyle wrestling. Like,
yes,
going on JRE, going on a lot of media, the Ben Askren kind of crossover.
Yeah, Ben Askren, they had a charity event.
Yeah. So like
the streets, I think it was called.
So yeah, like he'd kind of gotten to a level that collegiate wrestlers, for the most part, really never gotten to before in popularity, while still being a collegiate wrestler without having gone outside of it to, either going to quote unquote professional wrestling, going to the UFC, going to do other things. He kind of brought the popularity to him while he was still wrestling. So I doubt it's the end for him, but that is definitely a big hit, not getting the opportunity to go after a second gold medal.
But he's 32.
I mean, technically, as long as you never go pro, you can keep competing as an amateur and go to the Olympics.
No, not that. That's not what I mean. I just mean he's 32. Like, he's got to be exiting his prime. Like, I don't know how he makes it to the. I don't know. I'm just being selfish. I'd like to see him fight in MMA. That's all.
Yeah, I'd like to see that too. I just think it's great for Kyle Dake, who obviously had to put together a hell of a show and capability for this, but it's a shame that you won't get to see Jordan Burroughs competing in Tokyo.
Dude, you know what's crazy? Oh, so let's count all the losses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And he hasn't lost since then. So Kyle Dake is 98-17, so he hasn't wrestled as much, right? Mm-hmm. 7 of those losses are to Jordan Burroughs. So he accounts for what, 40%? Oh, not quite. Oh, wait. Yeah, 40%. About, probably a little less. But anyway, like 40% of his losses are to one guy.
Jeez.
But yeah, dude, he's been undefeated since 2018. Yeah, he's gone on a, oh wow. Dude, he hasn't lost a match in 43 matches. Yeah, so like Kyle Dake is very good.
Yeah, but it's definitely a hit to the freestyle wrestling. Like, less people are going to watch the Olympics with Jordan Burroughs not in it, specifically watch wrestling. I think compared to the U.S. viewership that Jordan Burroughs would have probably brought to the Tokyo Olympics.
We should talk about that when the Olympics come around, but I think the Olympic viewing shit is so bad.
Oh yeah.
Like even when I was a kid, it was bad. It's like, I don't care about the time delay. That's whatever. I just mean, like, how do I watch the Olympics? Oh, it's on 3 different channels. Okay, that's fine. What's on the ABC version? Oh, well, ABC has the very end of this event, but then the middle events of these sports, and then the end event of. I'm like, what if I want to watch? What if I want to watch the 400 meter steeplechase? I don't know if that's a thing. Like, that's not broadcast.
If either HBO, Netflix, or ESPN Plus wanted to make like one of the most substantial changes in Olympics history, they should basically make a freaking like subsection app for the Olympics, to where it just has everything in the actual like event category, and no commercials, no nothing, and just straight down like, oh cool, I want to watch basically every hockey game for the Winter Olympics.
Yeah. Why
click on
not?
the hockey section. Here's all the fucking hockey games that took place. I want to watch all the 74 kilogram wrestling matches. Oh, cool. Here they are. I want to watch all the heavyweight boxing.
Yeah, you're going to tell me you don't have cameras set up? I know you do.
Yeah, it should literally just be like an interactive app to where you can go to the sports you want to watch and check them out. And even if I had that app, cool, I might check out a fencing match. Just be like, all right, cool, I want to see the gold medal for
fencing's
fencing.
Fun to watch.
That's what I mean. Like, if you actually had that interactive app, cool. I want to see, gold medal for 400 meter.
Yeah.
Like, I would watch more Olympics if I had it laid out in an interactive way to where I could just click on the event and watch it.
Yeah, they have that on YouTube now where you can go back and look at previous Olympics or World Game stuff and then watch it after the event's over. But I want to be able to just like tune into the Olympics while they're kind of happening and follow like the storyline, like, hey, who's winning in all these hockey matches, instead of just going online and being like, oh, well, we're only broadcasting this once at 2 a.m. and then you can't go back. Like, it's just stupid. Like, you have the ability to literally just upload your shit. You don't even have to store it on physical medium anymore. Like,
it's kind of like how they do it with Strongman.
Upload it. Yeah, I watch that every year. I love I love World's Strongest Man.
Yeah,
I've been watching that every year since I was a little kid. Like, since I was like 8 or 9 years old when they had it in Vegas for like 5 years in a row or whatever. I've been watching it every single year. It's awesome.
The Olympics could be way better at how they approach this and how they.
It should be one of the biggest sporting events.
Theoretically, it should
ever
dwarf the World Cup.
Yes, I would hope so, but it's not going to.
Yeah,
because they have a terrible way of marketing and they have a terrible way of broadcasting. They're like, and I think part of it's because of the streaming model.
Well, and because Japan isn't they essentially aren't letting people in from other countries to view it. Like, it's going to be an Olympic bubble, but if they're going to do an Olympic bubble, they should have their broadcast and streaming game on point.
Yeah, I would hope so. What are you going to, like, put them all in a cage and then tell us who won afterwards? Like, you won't believe who won the 100 meter. It was this guy. No way. Do you have
video? No.
No. Like, trust me, though, it was crazy. Like, dude, this guy was running so fast. And then this other dude was also running fast. And at the very end, this other guy came and, like, he was running so fast.
I also have a prediction for this year's Olympics.
Do you think China wins more gold medals than the U.S.?
Yes and no. I think you see more world records broken at this Olympics than almost any other Olympics in history. And there's a very good reason behind that.
No drug testing.
Exactly. During COVID, most countries have suspended drug testing.
Oh, hell yeah.
During the entirety of COVID.
Oh, hell
so we've got a year and a half of people training, knowing they're not getting drug testing.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
It is party time.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm anticipating world record after world record. Like, and I know that happens to a general extent every Olympics, like a certain amount of records are broken. I'm talking like game changing, just fucking
Dude, this guy during freestyle swimming just ran across the top of the water. We've never seen it before.
Oh.
It's like, it's freestyle, so he just chose to run. Nobody even thought about it.
The clean and jerk record was broken 8 different times by every single lifter.
We had to make the bar longer and have people hold on to the ends of it while this guy threw it over his head.
We actually don't have a gold medal. We ran out of weights. We can't fit any more on the bar.
We had to put all the medals on there. Oh my God. Yeah, we'd let him lift the stage up, and everybody gets gold.
So that's my prediction for it. That I'm throwing that out there because I saw a couple people kind of reporting on it and pointing it out, like, hey, Olympics are coming up. No one's been drug tested in all of these countries since COVID. It's just like, oh, sweet. That's gonna be an awesome Olympics.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
McGuire, Sammy Sosa home run competition.
Oh hell yes.
Oh
man, back to the 96 season. All right. That is it. This has been extremely long. I might even split this into 2.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much for listening, making it this far, obviously. If you did make it this far, that's super cool. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Tell everybody about this. Comment below, please. Like, I responded last week to you guys, and I really appreciate you guys interacting, even if you're making fun of me a little bit because I called a KO a TKO. Ha ha ha. Like, that's definitely not the only mistake I've made, and it's not going to be the only one I ever make. I'm going to say a lot more stupid things. So, if you want more episodes to start out with Brendan's blunders, just let me know. Like, just tell me the stupid shit I said, and I'll put it on there. But I really appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Y'all take care out there.
All right. Everybody, have a great day.